Hello, my name's John, filmmaker and mildly experienced walker, and in the summer of 2022, I decided to go on another adventure. I wanted to walk a 150-mile route around the magnificent county of Oxfordshire. There'll be highs.
So very interesting. Let's go.
And lows.
Well, I think more than anything right now it's the heat that's getting to me.
And lots of walking. Please enjoy this episode of the series I've so inventively called Walking Oxfordshire. So far, I was around 12 miles into Oxfordshire. I'd walked a good part of the A4074, crossed the Ridgeway, and took a tumble. Recovering from that, currently I was on the A4130 bypassing Wallingford heading in the direction of Didcot and eventually the Premier Inn off the junction with the A34. The only rush I was in was to get there before 5 to get access to the lunchtime menu at the Beefeater, which is just next to the Premier Inn. To get there on time, I had a plan.
The roundabout wants me to go straight on, but I know better than the roundabout. I know that going left is actually quicker, although to be fair, going left's probably not suitable for most vehicles. It's suitable for me though, because walking is by far the most environmentally friendly, most space efficient vehicle there is. Very windy right now, no trees in any direction, so just field on field, so it's very windy. More than anything right now it's the heat that's getting to me. I did put a lot of sun cream on today, but even then it's still very hot. Getting through water at a pretty good rate as well. Luckily I've got less than 2 hours left according to Google Maps to the Premier Inn. But I thought, no, I want to get there before 5. I know it's petty to get the lunchtime menu, but it saves money and I know exactly what I like on that menu. It's so petty, it's so petty. 5 o'clock's just about reasonable. So it just depends when I get up from this rest, doesn't it? Oh, it's a very nice footpath. Bit of shade, no cars to deal with. Hopefully it's just a little break really. Today's finally really starting to take its toll on me. I gave myself a very brutal first leg. This feels like it should be about leg 3, leg 4, or leg 5, not leg 1. Despite me not being fully aware of how hard this first leg would be, I did have the foresight to plan a shorter route for the next 2 days of walking, and spoiler alert, I took both of them. However, I thought of ways to deal with missing out parts of the walk I originally wanted to do. To find out what I did, watch until the end of this episode, as there will be an example. Anyway, after the footpath, I saw the first signs I'd made it to Didcot. By this point, it was getting to around 4 o'clock, leaving me with 1 hour to walk the remaining 2 miles to the Premier Inn before I had to pay more for dinner. Yeah, I've got strange priorities. To get there though, I had to push through the exhaustion and traffic in the direction of the A34. Oh, I think I see the A34. That's good. Turn up there. Next shot you see will probably be when I'm at the Premier Inn.
Sadly, after all that, I'd arrived just a little too late for the lunchtime menu. That aside though, I'd successfully completed day 1 of the walk.
Okay, so here's the situation. I arrived just in time. If I felt like rushing, I could have made it to get the lunchtime offer at Beefeater, but I'm done with rushing today. I'm just done with rushing. Unfortunately, I had to spend £5 more on the main menu, but that was a small price to pay for honestly my favourite chain restaurant burger. It was undoubtedly a good reward for completing this 20-mile day. The thing is, this was only day 1. I had 9 more to go. It's 8:15 right now, just about to set off for day 2 of the walk. Today was going to be longer, but because yesterday was such a drag. Genuinely, yesterday was one of the hardest walks I've done. I think, well, I'll cut down on the route. Cutting down the route was crucial for today. I'd always planned for day 2 to consist of walking from the A34 to the Travelodge in Farringdon via Wantage, but originally I wanted today to include a pass-by of the Uffington White Horse. However, walking there would have meant this day would have been another 20-miler. For my own good, I decided to cut down the route and walk exclusively along the A417 from Wantage to Farringdon, but the White Horse was not forgotten about entirely, as you'll see later on. Now ready to start day 2 of the walk, I left the Premier Inn quite early and progressed in the direction of Wantage. Oh, it's a little bit nippy out. It was nippy at 8 in the morning, but by 4, the same could not be said. The first big landmark of the day was the A34, a key road linking the south of the country through Winchester all the way to Oxford, the M40 and the north. I crossed it last year on the A4, where I mentioned some other facts about it. The junction where it ends, I lived about 2 minutes away from that junction in 3rd year of uni. It is a key road, and I was very excited to cross it. I was just thinking of the A34, it should be a motorway. It looks like a motorway. All the exits like motorways. You can't, I was about to say you can't walk on it, but then I remember what happens later on in the walk, I think. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Vista. So, going beyond this pretty much means I'm officially in uncharted territory. I don't think I've been to Wantage. I might have been, but definitely not in my memory. Same with Farringdon, pretty much everywhere, to be honest, until we get to Oxford. So it'll be very interesting. Let's go. Feels really good to be back on the road again. It's been close to a year since I did the A4 and I've not done any real long form walk since then. And knowing this one's not going to be the longest day, that I can just like shoot whatever I want. It's great. I miss this. I've missed this feeling. Yeah. Anyway, we're coming up to our first turning off point for the day. It gives us a shortcut to the road towards Wantage. I can, in theory, continue along this road, but this cuts off probably about a quarter mile. But that's worth it. It is worth it. About to rejoin the A4130. Might be the A417 actually, I don't know which one it is, but it's one of the two. A4 is way easier to say. Oh god, yeah. The road I was currently on was the A417. In a way, it connects Wantage with Reading. However, with 20 or so miles between them, I don't think of Wantage as a nearby town to my own. That didn't stop me from being excited to make it there though. They called me a madman. I'm just trying to get to Wantage. Now on the A417, I quickly noticed the dangers of this road which would plague me for the rest of the day. Yeah, it's always a bit dangerous walking those roads because you've got to get out of the way of the cars, obviously, and then if you've got out of the way of a car, you then got to check behind you to get back on the road just in case you make a wrong turn. Okay, I'll give you an example right now. Okay, say there's a car coming to the side of me, and I'm here, I'm like, the car comes past me, and then I'll look back and see if there's another car. So like, if one's at that distance, I won't bother going in the road, because I'll just swing right into it, you know? So I have to check there's no cars behind me for a good distance before I set off again. Like, I'd say that's enough distance. Then I go, yeah, okay. That's what I have to do every single time. Because with this bag, I am so cumbersome, I'm not sure, if I'll swing that way. I hope I explained it well. I probably didn't, knowing me, but yeah, that's probably one of the biggest struggles about walking those roads. It's not so much avoiding the cars, it's just getting back on the road once you have avoided a car. Yeah. Anyway, not sure how much further it is till the next village. Do hills like those look familiar? Well, they should, because that's the North Wessex Downs.
The familiarity of the hills of the North Wessex Downs, like the ones I saw when I was east of Caen on the A4, were paired with the lack of shade. Luckily this time, I had plenty of water and sun cream. However, that didn't stop me from needing to take breaks every now and then.
I'm just taking a little sit down at this bus stop. It's not as easy as last time. Feet are hurting a bit. I think I might have a blister as well.
Blisters would prove to be a big problem with this walk. However, we'll get to that part when we get to it. At this bus stop, I thought about the signs I was still seeing for Reading.
It's weird still seeing signs for Reading. I don't think I'll see signs for Reading for that much longer. Probably after Wantage there'll be no signs for Reading at all until... might see a couple in Oxford and then in Henley, I think will be the next time. Anyway, yeah, taking a little rest. Should be back on my feet in 5 minutes. Yeah, and then hopefully I'll be able to get to Wantage.
Now in Wantage, I saw a trio of signs that piqued my interest. The first was a regular distance sign.
That's what I call a distance sign. 8 miles to Didcot, so that's... have I done 8 miles? No, I haven't. I've not done 8 miles today because I stopped at the western edge of Didcot, remember? It's 23 miles Reading, and then Newbury and Oxford were 17 and 19 miles. I'm a fan of distance signs like that. I don't know if you can tell by now.
The next was one that had 2 places of interest for me.
There's 2 things to unpack with that sign, and one was that it's the first sign with Farringdon on it, and the other thing to note is that Hungerford was on that sign. Remember Hungerford? There won't be a lot more A4 references, trust me.
And finally, one pointing in the direction of the Uffington White Horse.
If we lived in an alternative universe where yesterday wasn't so much of a struggle, I would have gone to the Uffington White Horse. I'd have gone a different route to Farringdon. But because yesterday was so long, I thought I'm simply not going to manage it, so I'm just doing the quick and easy route. Up the A417 still. I will try and get to the Uffington White Horse at some point. And hopefully you'll see when.
The signs were interesting, but more importantly, I'd officially made it to Wantage. Wantage is what comes to mind when I think of a smaller English town. Very posh, very compact, a lot of history, but most importantly, Wantage has a pub, which I was sure to visit. Oh dear.
There's a definite downside of starting these walks this early, is that the pubs don't open until 12. Yeah.
Luckily though, I only had to wait 20 minutes before they opened, and I could enjoy a very nice pint. While in the pub, I thought of a way how I could work the Uffington White Horse into this series without walking there that day, and here's what I figured. I'd do another walk a few months later, beginning at the King Alfred statue, and walk to the White Horse from there to connect the route. I should probably also add this isn't the only time I do something similar to this in the series, but all instances of me doing this kind of thing will from now on be called extra walks. I explained a little more at the statue.
This is not only the start of the second kind of half of this walk, but also if I do the Uffington walk, then this is where I'm going to start off from. So at this point in the video is where it's going to cut to myself later on doing the Uffington White Horse walk. Alright, the month is currently August. It's 3 months since I was last here, but finally, after so many setbacks, heat wave and train strike related, I'm finally going to walk to the Uffington White Horse, because I didn't do it that day. So yeah, 17 miles, you know, starting right now.
From Wantage, the White Horse is just over 6 miles away. In this extra walk, I'd journey west, get plenty of coverage of the North Wessex Downs, and of course the horse itself. From there, I'd walk further west to the edge of the county, and finish in Swindon. With 17 miles of walking to do that day, I made my way in the direction of the historic landmark.
Okay, so I've currently been on my feet for close to 2 hours, or around about 2 hours. 5 miles from Wantage, so that's good. And behind me, I don't know if you can see, I don't know if I'm blocking it, sign for the Uffington White Horse, so it means I'm not far away. Hopefully not too much longer to the White Horse now. I have a strong feeling we're nearly there. I think up there, that hill is Dragon Hill. Just need to get round and then we should hopefully get to a point where we can walk up the hill and see the White Horse. It's been 3 months and I want to see it.
Being at the top of Dragon Hill and White Horse Hill was incredible. I truly felt like I was on top of the world, but in a more literal sense, I was on top of Oxfordshire, as this point is the highest point in all the county. The only disappointment being that the horse is very hard to get a good shot of from ground level, but I knew following the main road for just a little bit longer would get me some of the best footage I'd ever capture in one of these series.
This is a view of the White Horse. It doesn't really look like much, it just looks like a few lines of chalk. If you compare it to an aerial image, which is hopefully what I'm doing now, you should hopefully see, you know, the two things are the same. So yeah, that's the Uffington White Horse there. Quite interesting, isn't it? Oh my god. Well, okay, the Cherho White Horse you had a better view of, and it looked more like a horse, because this one I think might be a saber cat, which is quite awesome. But this one, well, Cherho White Horse had only a few hundred years of history, if that. This one, 3,000 years. 3,000 years of history.
It's remarkable to be somewhere that old. The Uffington White Horse is a symbol of Britain's ancient history, and I was very happy I made the decision to come out this way. The only thing I wanted was a clear shot of it. I think that's the best one I'm going to get, but I'm still happy with it. Now past the White Horse, to semi-connect this route, I walked in the direction of the edge of Oxfordshire.
Right, so this is the boundary of Oxfordshire. It's not really where I want to be because, as I said, the rules of the series is that I couldn't leave the county. I think there's nothing wrong with, leaving the county, then going straight back into it. At the honest point, well, there is no relevance to the rest of today's walk to Oxfordshire. Of course, I'm going to walk further that way later today. I've got to end up at Swindon. There's a few clips of me getting dinner there at Spoons and then getting a train back. But I mean, there's not a lot of point in showing you the journey because it's not in Oxfordshire, is it? So yeah, we have now successfully done the part of the walk which I wanted to do 3 months ago. It took a bit longer to get to it than I wanted. I've said that 1,000 times by now. We've done it now. White Horse, off the list. So yeah, we are at the edge of Oxfordshire. We will now go back 8 miles to the east and I will return to Wantage. Right, so we're back a few months in the past. I don't know when I'm going to record that at all, but we're back here at Wantage and we are going to continue walking up the A417 to Farringdon, the Travelodge in Farringdon.
The extra leg I did had gone very well, but now back to when I did the major walk in May, I knew I still had a long way to go to Farringdon. However, the trip to Wantage had refreshed me a very good amount, and I felt like I was ready. Little did I know, the rest of the day would prove to be the first true struggle of the journey. To find out why, I'm afraid you'll have to tune in next time.